Good morning, everyone. This is Gunner from Gunner's Garage, and I'm here to let you know that back in July of last year, 2024, we decided to get rid of our 2017 F-150, which has really been a great truck, very trouble-free. Finally got to the point where it had 120,000 miles on it. I know it could have lasted hopefully till 200,000, but we decided, because we do a lot of RVing, we have to have a vehicle to tow behind. And the F-150, we had to put a drive shaft disconnect device, very expensive because it included a new drive shaft. And it was still a pain. So we went ahead and traded it, actually sold it to Carvana because they gave us the best price, gave us a check right there. And so we bought a 2020 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, which has all the bells and whistles, 34,000 miles on it, and a good price. Ended up, the Jeeps are the best vehicles, really the easiest vehicles to flat tow. Because all you have to do is push in a little detent where the knob is for the four-wheel drive, different positions. And the little detent, actually what it does is it disconnects the transfer case, which basically lets the wheels, the four wheels and tires rotate freely without any interaction with the driveline. And so it's been really a pleasure. So now we have 38,000 miles. And it's time for an oil change. So I'm going to show you all how easy it is to change the oil on a Jeep Grand Cherokee. We have the 3.6 liter V6 engine in there, which to me is plenty of power. It supposedly has 295 horsepower, not sure about that. I don't drive with that horsepower in mind because right now I'm getting about 20 miles to the gallon. Which is not too bad for an SUV that has four-wheel drive, and that's not a hybrid. I'm sure you can probably get better mileage out of a Toyota Highlander with the hybrid system, but those are kind of out of our price range. So I'm going to go ahead and start on the top of the Jeep, and we're going to remove and replace the cartridge oil filter that comes with this Jeep. The nice thing about cartridge oil filters is that you're concerned about the environment. There isn't a metal filter that gets thrown away and who knows what happens to them. It is basically a pleated filter cartridge that is biodegradable in the long run. Maybe except for the oil that's soaked into the pleats. But here we go. Hey y'all, I am back here under the hood of my 2020 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited and ready to do the oil change. On top of the engine is a plastic cover. This little piece right here pops up just like that. You can move that out of the way. And inside there is the oil filter. It is way down in there, and I am going to take the oil filter, replace the oil filter. There it is. You see the top of it right there? Okay, so we're going to remove that canister right there and replace the oil filter first. And then we're going to go underneath and tackle the drain and disposal of the oil. So here we go. So the top of the canister for the oil filter cartridge is 15/16, so use a 1/2-inch extension and a 15/16 socket with a ratchet. And so we're going to undo this plastic canister and show you what the cartridge looks like. I went ahead and pulled the cover off the top of the engine completely to give me some more access. And the cover's just held in with rubber grommets onto these metal little studs, just pressed on. And here comes my oil filter. I got a little container here. Trying not to make a mess. Pull this out. There's an intake pipe right here sort of in the way. So you have to kind of tilt it sideways. I'm trying to let, that's your oil filter right there, the cartridge. And the oil filter simply just pulls out. Just give it a good pull. And there's the cartridge. It's just a paper cartridge. And the container has an O-ring right here that a new one, there's a groove that the O-ring goes into, and a new one comes with the filter. So you just need a little screwdriver to get that off. Just use a little screwdriver, get it underneath the O-ring, and just pull it over the top. And you've got a new O-ring that comes with the original equipment Mopar filter that I bought on Amazon for about less than $8. I like to use original equipment whenever I can. No use in scrimping. I wrote the foot-pounds down that need to retighten the canister, which is 18 foot-pounds, and the drain plug is 20 foot-pounds. So get the O-ring out of the box. There's the new filter. This little tit right here goes to the bottom, and this part presses back onto the canister. I got the canister right here, and I'm just going to install this new O-ring onto the groove into the canister. There's a groove about a couple of millimeters from where the canister bottoms out. So get a little bit of that oil on there that's spilled over, and that will help it slide in there easier. So the canister and the filter just snap together. So when it stays in place, it's in good shape. Now we're going to put this back in there and tighten it up to my readings, 18 foot-pounds of torque. So here we go. Put this down inside the hole. It kind of goes a little crooked sideways until you get it down in there. Wiggle it, make sure it should just spin on there pretty freely until the last little part. So I'm going to put my socket and my extension back down there. Get on there. And I've got an old school torque wrench. I've got another torque wrench right here. I didn't bring it in from where it was. So we are going to use this torque wrench right here. You can buy these at any auto parts store. You really don't need a torque wrench, but for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to use a torque wrench to 18 foot-pounds. So, oops, everything's good. Tighten that up until it, there we go. Grab the torque wrench. Since this torque wrench doesn't have a ratchet, get it to right there. You don't want to over tighten it because the canister is made out of plastic. That's it. So we got that taken care of right there. We're gonna put this in the trash. Just gonna put it back in the box that it came in, that the new one came in. That goes in the trash. Right there, into the trash. Then, this cover needs to go back on here. Which, if you look at the cover, there's rubber grommets. Right here is a rubber grommet that goes on top of these pegs right here. So there's 4 of these pegs. And so you just need to kind of line up the cover with the pegs. Then, once you get it lined up, you're just gonna push hard, and that's on there. This little cover right here is supposed to be all you need to take off, but I just, once I took this off, I realized there's not a lot of room. So you just put this back on and it just snaps in place. Okay, I always pull out the dipstick and take off the fill. The fill cap actually says what type of oil you're supposed to use. In this case, I'm going to use Mobil 1 020 that I got at Costco for about 40 bucks for 6 quarts, which I didn't think was too bad. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. Change it every 5,000 or 6,000 miles. And now we got to get down to the bottom. Pulling that fill cap does 2 things. It reminds you that you haven't put the oil in there yet, which is what most automotive oil change places will do, because it's cheaper to replace a fill cap if you slam the hood on it, and then you won't forget to put the oil in there. But I'm gonna get down at the bottom and drain the oil, and then we'll get back onto the top and fill it up. There's the drain plug right there. It takes a, it's not wanting to be clear, but there's the drain plug, and it takes a 13mm socket, and it's got a rubber backed drain plug. So every once in a while, probably have to change out the drain plug because you can't replace a washer. But I've already got this ratchet here, and I've already sort of loosened it up. And so one thing is, this oil is going to come out really fast because I've got that cap off. So here we go. Just get this oil out of here. There it comes. Ooh, I'll change my glove. That's about 5.5, 6 quarts of oil coming out of there. And once it wants to, my little drain plug is in the oil right now. So I'm gonna wait till that's completely drained out. And oil's pretty dirty after almost 5,000 miles. Even though it's synthetic, this oil still gets dirty. So we're gonna let that drain for a minute. I think I'm gonna go and... So this is kind of a weird drain plug that has sort of a rubber backing. Get a clear shot of that. But it can be used several times. I would imagine eventually you're going to have to replace the drain plug. A lot of car manufacturers use a copper or aluminum type washer, crush washer, that can be used once, and the drain plug can be used numerous times. It is what it is. This is what Jeep uses. So we're going to go ahead and put that back in there, since 99% of the oil is out of there. And we'll put that in there. Make sure that you don't, it should go in real easy, just like that. You don't want to cross thread it, which is hard to do, but it happens. Wipe off any oil residue. Grab your ratchet and snug it up. Get that on there. There we go. Give it a good pull, and then I'm going to, just for safe measure, I'm going to grab my torque wrench. This torque wrench here sets 20 foot-pounds, they say. Push this oil pan over. So I'm going to take a look here, and got my glasses, my readers, my cheaters on. And we're going to pull that torque wrench. Give it a little more. You don't want to over tighten it either, but wipe a little residue. It doesn't collect dust. And that's it for underneath here. I'm going to pull my oil pan out of there, and we'll get back up to the top and fill it up. All right, folks, here we are back up on the top. Get you a funnel like so. You can get them just about any auto parts store or Walmart. Put your funnel in there and pour in 5 quarts. Check your dipstick, because I think it takes just under 6 quarts. You don't want to overfill, you don't want to underfill. I already pre-opened these bottles, make it a little quicker on the video. You can return the oil to any auto parts store, the used oil. And you can actually use this funnel and pour the used oil from your drain pan into these bottles and bring them back to the auto parts store. I like the clean look of this oil. This is great. Got one more. Then we're going to check the dipstick. I'm going to pour in a little bit at a time. The filter, this filter doesn't take a whole lot. You know, some larger trucks have a huge capacity filter. So I'm going to go and get something to wipe with. All right, here we go with 5 quarts of oil. It's sitting right there on the full mark of the dipstick. But I'm going to start the engine for a few seconds. And then we're going to check that oil again, because it's going to fill up the filter. I don't think there's going to be a lot of splash, but I'm going to put this fill plug back in here while I'm letting the engine run for 10 seconds or so. Here we go. I got to be able to put my foot on the brake for this thing to start, so bear with me. Here we go. That's all it took. Get that oil circulating through there. We'll put that dipstick back in down here. Dipstick tube. It's kind of funky because it only wants to go in one direction. This dipstick tube is kind of twisted. There we go. So be patient, and if it doesn't want to go down, then turn it in another direction. It looks to me like we're down at the low mark now. So we're right there at the low mark. So I'm gonna say another quart, just under a quart. Put this back in here. So we're gonna get rid of these oil bottles that I got sitting on the cowling here, and open my last bottle. Take the fill cap back off, and funnel back in there. These oil bottles have a marking on the side, so I'm going to put just shy of the extra quart. So we are down to, we've put 12 ounce, we've got 12 ounce left out of 32. Let's take a look and see what. These engines really don't burn any oil. It looks to me like it's getting there. You got to give it a second to get down into the engine, because it's going to keep draining down in there from the top where we fill it for a minute or so. Pull that out. It looks like it's right. It's right near the full mark. So I'm going to check that one more time. Hard to see sometimes. It's nice to have a little better lighting, but it is what it is here in my garage. Yeah, the oil is, it's just under the full mark. You can see it right there. Right. If I can keep this thing from wobbling, huh? All right, well, I'm gonna put just a couple more ounces for the sake of being accurate. Like I said, you don't wanna overfill them either. So right now there's 12 ounces left in this bottle. And so I'm gonna bring it down to the next mark, which is not much. So now there's like 10 ounces, so that makes it right about there. That out. It is right at the full mark now. That is absolutely perfect. Okay, that's where you want to be. And you can use the extra quart, just keep it either in your car or in your garage handy, because in 5,000 miles, you're gonna have to change the oil again, but you probably want to check the oil in between your oil changes, because you never know. You don't want to run low on oil. And most of these engines, modern engines, don't really burn any oil. I'm going to put the fill cap back on. Don't forget to do that. You'll make a big mess on top of the engine if you don't. It's easy to put on. Put my funnel away. button things up, drive the car back down, and we are pretty much done. Don't forget to take that quart of oil. Any other tools you might have laying on your cowling here? I don't have anything. You can check your fluids at the same time. I just topped off the washer fluid. Radiator, there's a minimum, maximum. Minimum is when it's cold, and maximum when it's hot. Unless you've got leaks, you shouldn't have to worry about that. And that's about it. I changed the air filter. Actually, I showed my wife how to change the air filter a few weeks ago. It's super easy. And so I got the better quality one. And here we go. That's it. Okay, folks, one final thing. It's running right now. Everything's cool. You want to reset that oil reminder, which basically tells you percentage of oil life left. And so you get into your information screen here, and you can get over to, you can see all the different stuff. And one of the option, oil pressure, right there, 49%, hold to reset oil life. So it's an oil life reminder. So I'm going to hold that in. Engine must be off with ignition in the run position. So I'm going to take my foot off the brake. I'm going to shut the engine off, and I'm going to put it back into run. Turn that off. So there it is. So the engine is off. I hate that. So just push it in, hold it, and now it's at 100%. So that's it. So once again, this is Gunner with Gunner's Garage. We just did an oil change on a 2020 Jeep Liberty, Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, and it has 38,700 miles on it. When we bought it, it had 34,000 and some. We've had it since about June or July of 2024. It's a great vehicle. Just to show you, you can do a pretty quick and easy oil change on these. You don't really need many tools to do this. It does help to have a set of ramps. I've got a set of composite ramps that work well for a light car like this. And so if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And I've got some other videos. I'm just kind of goofing around. These videos are by no means as good as some of the folks that get on here and do this. I've actually got a pit in my RV garage. And however, I chose just to get on the ground with a little tarp because I didn't want to move the RV out. But I'm sure most of you won't even have anything other than some ramps. So just be careful. The ramps are pretty strong and they're pretty safe, and you can buy them on Amazon. They'll deliver them. So have a great day and have fun changing the oil on your Jeep Grand Cherokees. See ya.